sometime you were forced to leave the ghetto. That's the point we had stopped the last tape.
Now, I didn't leave the ghetto. I was taken into concentration camp. So what happened is the Germans needed people to work in the factories because the men went to war and the women went to replace them, like to become mailmen or officers or something. And the factories didn't have people, so they needed women. So they came one time and they asked, they needed 1,500 women. They didn't want to take married people, only single and young kids.
And
young kids.
Young, yes.
Young. Not older, like say like in the 30s. 20s would be okay, but in the 30s by then was too old. Because so we were two sisters, so one had to go. My younger sister was only by then she was 14. I was 16 already. It was 1942. So they sent me a note. If I don't go, they're going to take my father as a hostage. So my father said he will go. I said no. If you go, I won't be able to take you out. But if I go, you can go to the Jewish Community Center and take me out. So he said, okay. I didn't go. I waited till the militia came. This is militia, means the Jewish police came. And they said, I'm sorry, we came, we have to take you. So I went. And I figured my father would be able to take me out. Meantime, I stayed over there a few hours in the orphanage building. Over there with a big group of girls, young girls. And then we were sent to Sosnowiec, to another city. And we went over there to a high school. What once was a high school. During the war, there was just an empty building. And from there, we were sent to concentration camp. And my father couldn't do nothing to take me out. But I always wrote very good letters home. I figured it's enough. My father and my mother have heartache that I went away to concentration camp. I said, I'm not going to write nothing bad.
What was the name of the concentration camp?
The Auschwitz, the company was Auschwitz, and the city was in Greenbaum, in Germany, near Breslau. So I wrote, I eat good, and I look good, and everything good, and I don't work hard, and everything fine.
Was any of that true?
Part was true, because I helped out in the kitchen, so I had a little bit more food. And to me, work wasn't so hard, the work, because I was supposed to cook starch for what we were making is we were making those lines what the ships have, those heavy lines, you know, we were making, and that had to go through a starch to make it tighter.
Ropes? Heavy ropes?
Heavy ropes, those liners for a boat, you know, where you hold the boat to the pier. This thing what I did. And then we made also from brown paper, you know, like the brown bags, they cut strips and then they rolled it by a special machine, and then came to the part of the factory where I worked, and it went through wax to tighten it up, to hold it. And these people had to wrap around packages or tighten up something. They didn't have the other material, so this is what they had. String to thread to sew, they had to use that fiber, that flax, whatever it's called. So and to the liners they had to use flax too. So this what I did. I cooked the starch, and then I gave, with a bucket, I gave everybody part of that starch, and then I cooked another portion, and they put this in, and the fiber, but on everything what was made with fiber. It went through that starch, and then it went through to with wax, and became a little bit shiny, and it got tightened up so it doesn't open. Now, when I worked over there were also by us over there French war prisoners. And you know, we always want to find out how long that war will last. So from far, we couldn't go near them. We couldn't talk to them. But from far, we said like that. And they understood that we asking, what's new? So they always said, 2 Wochen, 2 weeks, Deutschland kaputt. So we knew this and that means in 2 weeks Germany be finished. But the 2 weeks lasted for 3.5 years. But
do you think they really believed that? Or
from beginning we believed. But what other hope did we have? We had to believe them. Even every time, every 2 weeks they said the same thing. Only one time when all of a sudden we were supposed to go to work, 6 or 5 o'clock in the morning, we were supposed to go to the work. And the foreman, a German, and as Armen, those with the yellow uniform, he was supposed to come and pick us up to go to the factory. And we see he's not coming. So we figured maybe it's after the war. You know, we always were praying, maybe it's after the war. And we were waiting and waiting, and all of a sudden he came, mad like anything. So we knew something must have happened. So he comes and starts to scream at us, go fast, go fast. A group went to this part of the factory, a group to that part of the factory, the other group here. And we went in, and the foreman was supposed to take care, start the machine beam, take care of us. He isn't there. He said, maybe it's after the war. All of a sudden he came. He starts the machinery, and he was mad again.
Not the foreman, you're talking about
the other foreman, from
yes.
my part of the factory.
Right.
He is mad like anything. And we see the Frenchman didn't come to work. But it was maybe by 9 o'clock, the Frenchman came in. He said quietly, again, 2 weeks, Deutschland kaputt. But then later we found out that the Russian front broke. And that everybody was for sure, the Germans were for sure at home listening to the radio. It's why they did come. And the Frenchmen may be heard by them, by their radio, because they didn't come neither. So, but we had a little bit hope. At least they broke the front. You know, at least a little bit hope. We only looked every day. We stood, and let's say if I came home, I had in the morning the shift in the morning, so I was home by 3 o'clock, I think. I was home, and then 11 o'clock at night time, the second shift. So we waited till 11 o'clock till the second shift, and as soon we came home, and as soon as the girls came in, we asked, did you hear anything news? Anything news? Did you hear anything news? And every time they said the same thing, 2 weeks, Deutschland kaputt. So what? But we always hoped. We always hoped. And we told some girls sometimes said, oh, forget it, the war will never be won, the Germans will never lose, and we didn't let them say it. Don't you dare say that. The Germans will lose. And you know, we only lived with a lot of hope that someday we will come out. But in our hearts, with ourselves, I didn't believe. Many times I pictured myself how I'm going to be old and gray and still work in a factory like that and won't be able to go on the street by myself. It's really heartbreaking.
What happened to the rest of your family when you went into the camp?
Everybody was home, and then I went to the camp, to the concentration camp in February 1942. I got mail till November. After the November, I didn't get no more mail.
Who did you get mail from?
From my parents.
And what did they say?
Everything was good. They also said, again, everything was fine, everything was nice, everything just like it was, and that's all. Till one time I got a letter from my father, and every letter, everybody wrote in something. So then my oldest brother didn't write it. So I knew something happened. So I asked him, where is Chaim? They said he went to camp. Okay. Then I got a letter only from my father and my youngest brother. So my father wrote me that my mother went out to shop and she is in a line waiting to buy some food, and that my sister went to work. Next time he sent me a letter, he wrote something else, something familiar like that. I started to figure out something was wrong. Meantime, one of the girls got a letter from home that their parents were sent out. Where? To Auschwitz. We didn't know about Auschwitz. No, my father wrote me, first of all, my mother, when he admitted already, he wrote me that she was sent to Theresienstadt. But she was sent to Auschwitz. She was never in Theresienstadt. And then in November, the whole mail stopped. And I think in November, I got a package, but I never received it. Only an assistant you see, where we were, we had a Jewish Judenälteste, like the eldest from the Jewish girls. And then we had a German woman, a Lagerführer, that she took care of us, a German woman. Now she had a few assistants, really three, because one later got pregnant, and there were two, always two. But there was one, and she went and she brought me the picture from the passport from my father and the picture of my mother. She gave it to me. I said, I didn't get no letter. How did from where does she have the pictures? So I couldn't speak so good German, so I asked the Jewish eldest girl from us. I said, ask that girl from where she got the pictures. How did she get my mother and my father's pictures? So she asked, and she said she's curious just to find out. She said my father, sent the whole package. Sheets, pillowcases, blankets, the rest of my clothes, everything. He sent it in, but I cannot receive it. Because they didn't allow to have pillows or sheets or blankets. No bedding at all. In the whole camp, nobody had bedding. But she said, those two pictures, I figured she wants, so I gave it to her. It was nice. By the way, that girl's name is Altman. My maiden name is Altman. So there was a little bit of connection there. That's why she gave me. She didn't give nobody. She only gave me the two pictures. She figured I want to have the pictures of my father and mother. And it looks, I have those pictures. And then I look at a girl, and I see a girl is wearing a summer coat, like a military summer coat, the color like a military, greenish-like. And I look at the coat, and that coat looks so familiar. I said, what coat is that? And I recognized my summer coat. And I start to cry. I came February. I had a good winter coat. And I started to cry. And I don't know, the eldest, the German woman what was taking care of us, I forgot her name. And she sees me, I'm crying. She said, what's the matter with her? Why is she crying? So our eldest woman, Miss Templer, she said because she saw a girl wearing her summer coat. She said, yeah. She said, how about if they switch? She should take my winter coat and I take the summer coat. I said, I don't want them. I want to keep my winter coat. Summer coat, I don't care for a summer coat. But my winter coat, it was made from my father had an old pelts. You know what the pelts is? A winter coat with furs inside. And it was an old one. It was here rubbed out already by the packet. So during the war, I was growing. And everything got short. My sister was growing too by her, everything, you know, kids growing. So my mother gave my winter coat to my sister and took that old coat, turned it over on the other side, went to a tailor, and the tailor made me the coat. And I had a good coat. And I didn't want to part with that coat because it was a warm coat. What do I need a summer coat? Big summer coat? No summer coat. But you know, it hurts you a little bit. You see somebody, if they would tell me, maybe it wouldn't hurt that much. But Germans didn't care. The girl had a ripped up coat, you know. They found the coat. They went and gave it to her. I don't know what they did with the rest of the stuff. I don't have the faintest idea. So, listen, I always said, stuff you can always get. But if I only would have my parents or my sister or my two brothers, that would be the best. I didn't care for nothing. It's why I kept those pictures hidden. The whole time. I said, some days I can't forget how they even look. And a lot of people forgot how their parents look. Yeah.
We were talking about the camp before.
Yeah.
What kind of food did they give you to eat while you were there?
Now, what we got in the morning, you see, I helped out in the kitchen too. I cut bread. And we were when we came in, we were 40 girls. And that German woman what took care of us, she stood till we cooked. And we served, we had brown plates, so deep bowls. And we had to lay out the 40 plates, and we went serving. Everybody came in a line, everybody got the soup, then she went away. That was breakfast, lunch, and supper.
The same food?
No, the same way she did it. So for breakfast, we got black coffee, not real coffee, ersatz coffee. I don't know from what it was made. And 2 thin pieces of bread like that with jam, or sometimes a little bit margarine. You know, it had to be thin and put on because if not, the last girls wouldn't have nothing. So we had to cut to give it thin. And she stood till everything was served out. And for lunch, I think we also got 2 pieces of bread and coffee. And nighttime, we got the soup. I don't think we got bread, just the soup. That was it.
Did you lose an awful lot of weight?
Yeah, everybody lost weight. Everybody lost weight. That wasn't enough, especially if we work. We work very hard. And some girls work very hard. You see, we started from the fiber, it came from the field, the fiber. And we had to put this, some girls did this, they had to put in the machine, and it came out like strips, so white strips with a thing came out. And then that stove came to us where I worked in the factory later. And I made it thinner, you know, finer. And then it went to a spinnerai where it rolled fast. And 2 girls lost fingers by that rolling. You know, young kids, what do they know about the machine? A machine as big, maybe bigger than that room here. Like a small house, a machine. I worked, first of all, I was cooking the starch, what I told you before. And later I was working by a factory, by a machine, because the woman went away from that machine. And the woman was a heavy set woman. And later they put me. And the pins, where you roll those things, what the machine rolls them on, I had to take them off. And then another pin put on. And the pins were that big pins, because the threads, the strings were heavy. It was maybe like that finger, maybe a little bit thinner. And it was, you know, I had, I think, 48 pins like this. Every hour and a half, I had to take off 40 pins and put on 40 pins, take those off, put on 40 pins, and then he had taken off what they were waxed already, and take off the full one and put on fresh ones. A whole day I was going here and I'm going there, whole day. And that was hard. Here, my whole chest was always hurting, constantly. Till we went to the second factory.
What happened with these girls that lost their fingers? What did they do with them then?
One healed. One girl healed. The other girls didn't heal. And they sent her away. And we did everything. We put salt water. We put whatever we could do. Couldn't do nothing. I think it smelled. I think she got the gangrene. And they sent her away. She's not alive. Because I met her brother. She wasn't there. They for sure sent her right away to Auschwitz.
What were your sleeping conditions like?
Sleeping, we had straw mattresses, like, you know, straw in the mattresses, and we had a blanket on top, like a military blanket, and one blanket on top of the mattress. One blanket, and on top another blanket and a pillow. No sheets, no nothing. Nothing, just like it, just a thing. Nobody.
How many in a room?
Oh, we were maybe 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 girls in one room. This wasn't the first camp. The second was different. In the second camp we were 50 girls in one room.
How about the toilet facilities?
In the first camp, we could wash and go to the bathroom whatever we wanted to, because it was part of the factory. So we had heat, winter and summer, because they needed those lines for the ships to dry. So it was one big, long building, and they cut off a part and gave it to us as a camp, where the 40 girls were. And the rest, but the heat was still coming to us. So we had showers, hot water, always, constantly. And the toilets, we had 1 or 2 toilets, I don't remember. But one shower, this I know. So the girls they came home from the hector line or whatever part of that factory. They were here gray, the hair gray. They were keeping a scarf. Always I had to have a scarf, but the part here was gray, here gray. The whole face was full of dust. But what can you do? They had to go over there to walk.
Did that ever harm you? All that breathing in that dust?
I wasn't long over there. No, I don't think. I think the girls later, maybe later in life it hurt them, but not when we were there. But sometimes they were coughing.
How were you treated? when you were in that factory?
In the first factory wasn't too bad. They didn't beat us. First factory was okay. But the second factory was a different story.
We'll talk about the second one. How did the inmates treat one another?
Fine. Fine. Everything in the first factory. I'm talking only first factory.
We're talking about the first factory.
Then came more girls. Then we had 60 girls, then we 80. I think 100 was the most what we had. So we got tightened up here a little bit more. Two girls slept, and then they gave us another barrack, and some girls slept over there. But our barrack was better because we always were warm. Over there was no heat.
How about this German woman that you said was in charge of the food?
Yeah.
How did she treat you?
She was just like a German woman. She came, she looked, didn't talk much. And when she was finished, without nothing, all of a sudden, she's gone. That's it. That's it. If she had, to us, she didn't say nothing. But if she say something to our elders from the Jewish girls, it was a miracle if she said something. But sometimes she had to talk to her. But every time she came, we called her right away because none of us could then speak German. And then she came right away out and she greeted her. And if she didn't say hello, she just banged the head down, and that was it.
Was anybody punished in that factory for anything?
One girl was punished. She let the machine go, and I think she went to the bathroom. And the pins got over too big. And they were afraid it was going to happen a fire. Till she came back, she should have stopped the machine and go to the bathroom. And so she was punished for a little while.
What happened if you got sick while you were there?
You know, I don't think anybody got sick. We all, even a cold, this wasn't sickness. A cold, you had to go to work. I had a cold, I had to go to work. It didn't bother me. It didn't bother me because nobody made a big fuss about it. Some girls got sick, so they were sent away. And who knows what happened to them? We don't know even what happened to them.
Was there any kind of religious activity while you were there?
No. In the first game, we didn't know when Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur is. We didn't know nothing. We didn't have no papers, nothing. We didn't know what date it is. If it wouldn't be Sunday we had off, we wouldn't know Sunday or Monday. We only knew Sunday we have a day off, Monday we go to work, Monday is the first day, second day is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday we work to have a day. And that was it.
What did you do with that day off?
We washed. Summertime we tried to go in the sun a little bit. And we did different things. We sewed up. We tried to fix stuff, whatever we were wearing, whatever got bad. We fixed the hair. There was a girl who could cut our hair a little bit, shorten that, and something like that.